It's your boy, the liberal loudmouth, and as always, I'm here with.
The real Ron Tim. We've been busy this week, son. I
We
mean,
have,
we've been doing some stuff. We've been doing the doing,
yes, sir.
and
Had
we got
a lot of great stuff going on in the show,
oh,
and
we got
tonight,
oh,
woo,
t- tonight's gonna be. I'm kind of nervous, Tim. I ain't been this nervous in a while, but tonight's gonna be a little bit edgy, controversial.
yeah, perhaps very informative, I'll say, for
Yeah, at the
myself
very
and
least. Yeah,
and hopefully everybody that lives in Tulsa or has some kind of a stake in Tulsa. And
yeah. Anytime you talk about Tulsa, that's big news. I mean, what, the biggest school district in the state,
yeah,
second largest city. I mean, come on now.
yep, and it's coming up. It's catching up to Oklahoma City. But yeah, I since we're running late, and I apologize for that. I had a cat issue. I
You
had
did, yeah.
that little cat that I found the other day. He
Oh my
decided
god.
to start jumping around and run around the room right before we went live. So that's my bad. Sorry. Nonetheless, we're going to go ahead and get started. We have a special guest for you today.
Please join in the comments too.
Jennifer, how's it going, Jennifer? How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing just fine.
It's like liberal loudmouth.
The liberal loudmouth.
It's the liberal loudmouth, and this is what we do. Tim's liberal, I'm conservative. We meet in the middle. We want to get the truth out. We want to get both sides of the conversation. And Tim and I have had cuss fights, and we've hung up on each other, and he's been like, "Fuck you."
That's never happened.
It's never happened. It's never
Well,
happened.
Never happened.
You got to be real. That's the thing. You have to be
Real,
real.
yes.
You know.
I mean
Yeah.
that's why we have the real Ron here. We got to keep shit real.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think I kept saying real Ron the other day, and someone went, "No, it's real Ron."
I gotta say this. My niece came home from high school today. She's a senior in high school in Warner, and she's like, my friend Rachel said that her whole family was watching the other night, and said, "Are you kin to that Ron guy?" I'm like, "Yeah," and she's like, "Yeah, that's my uncle that I live with," and I'm like, "Fuck yes."
that's funny.
She's like, my whole family was watching. It was, and the mom of the girl was like, "He's hilarious." I'm like, I really am hilarious. So, anyway,
and we know another group of people that watch us all the time, don't we?
Oh
Ron?
yeah, we do.
Wow.
We do.
I
And
know you guys have a pretty big following, and I feel privileged to be here. I'm kind of surprised you asked me to be here, but
Surprisingly, we do have a big following. Tim, would you agree?
Yeah, we do. And honestly, I think probably half of them love to hate us. That's why they watch, because they're like, what could we play in federal court next time?
well, I think it's great that you're both maybe think a little bit differently, perspectively about things, but you're working together, and I like how you do your show. You're not exclusive. You don't cancel people. So
Yeah,
100%.
if
absolutely.
you're real, and that's all you got to be.
And you had a story to tell, and that's why we wanted to get you on here, and that's why we're both excited about this. So if you want to set the stage a little bit for what's going on with Vanessa Hall-Harper and Tulsa City Council, that would be amazing.
First of all, tell us a little bit about yourself and your background and what's going on.
Okay, well, I'm a native Tulsan. I left for a while, so I'm a Navy vet. I have a Master of Divinity from Phillips.
America.
There you go. I have a Master of Divinity from Phillips Seminary, and I'm a member of the Delaware tribe, and so when we talk about Greenwood, the Greenwood district, where you're actually talking about the earth that my kin farmed before it was ever called Greenwood. And
Okay.
so I'm always, I grew up with my dad taking me over there all the time. So I always had this weird attachment to the area, and only recently learned about a great uncle who 22 acres of it was his farm. And then when Tulsa incorporated, he began annexing parts of what became Greenwood west of the tracks for the Black community. And so he was kind of part of those Tulsa pioneers.
That's awesome.
Well, but not awesome in a way, because he was participating in that systematic racism. You can live on this side.
Oh my gosh. I'm
that
sorry, Jennifer. Jennifer, hang on.
Yes.
This is going to be so much more than just an hour show, people.
Sure.
And this is why, because Jennifer, this is why I'm so drawn. And Tim, you may have a different opinion, but this is why I'm so drawn to Jennifer, because she has such a historical and just a real life value to what we're fixing to talk about with Greenwood and the Tulsa race massacre and all that kind of stuff. There's going to be a lot more to this.
Sure.
But I want to talk about what we've been talking about.
Absolutely.
Over the last couple of weeks with Vanessa Hall-Harper.
Right.
And I'm going to make this awkward right off the bat, but this isn't a white dude going after a black person.
Right.
This is somebody, Jennifer is somebody that is passionate about this topic.
Yes.
This hits home for her, so it's very important, and that's why we wanted to give you this platform. Sorry, go ahead.
It does hit home for me. I mean, I have struggled with this for over a year. I researched this for over a year.
What did you research?
Well, when the president of the chamber friend, Dr. Freeman Culver, had contacted me about applying for round 2 for COVID relief, and then he made this comment about, well, why bother? Because with Vanessa on the selection committee, she's gonna make sure we're out and she gets money. And I thought, well, I said something like, well, how could she be on the committee and award herself or whatever? And
let me ask you real quick, just to clarify, when you said your friend on the chamber,
Greenwood
which chamber were you referring to for everybody else?
The Greenwood Chamber of Commerce.
Okay.
Yes. And so he was just kind of like, hey, what do you think? Should we reapply? And I said, I don't see why you wouldn't. And then that out came, this thing about what happened with the first round of ARPA funds. And he sent me some links to the city, and we were on the phone while I was looking it up, and I was like, wait a minute. She was on the selection committee, and her chamber, called the Black Wall Street Chamber of Commerce, they got money, and she was on that committee. And he was like, yep. And then that was it. That's how it started. And I knew something had happened, and that's when I began to look into it. And I was very careful, because I didn't want to be like jump to conclusions. And so I sent the city an email and said, I think maybe something may not be right here. And then when I saw like the final list of 70 people who got money, I saw how they were selected, that they were required to be a 501c3, and all the info on the city website was C3. And then she's the only C6. I knew.
Okay, hang on.
Okay.
I don't know the difference between a C3 and a C6. Okay. Tim or Jennifer, can y'all explain that?
In this context, in the COVID relief context, 501c3 exempt is like Meals on Wheels, an organization that serves a lot of people.
Like a charity type thing.
Sure. Right. And something like Black Wall Street Chamber or a 501c6 serves their paying members only.
And typically chambers, or I believe all chambers of commerce are 501c6s. Is that right?
Right. But they'll also have little different sub organizations that are a C3 maybe, or development stuff. But
so if you could tell us why that is important to this story.
What's important is that in January of 2021, the city of Tulsa put out a request for proposals to all C3 organizations. 501c3s apply. The deadline's February 19th. Go to this link and see all our materials. See the web slide deck, and it says 501c3 all over it. And so 200 or so people applied. Presumably they were 501c3. And one of those applications was the Black Wall Street Chamber of Commerce, who at that time was a 501c6. So
At the time.
at that time, yes. And that's how I knew something wasn't right. So then the question was, how did that happen? And so it didn't take rocket science to do a request for their application.
That sounds like some Tim shit right there.
Because the application process per the city and federal guidelines said you have to provide us with a current copy of your exempt status from the IRS. What the Black Wall Street Chamber supplied was something from 2019 from their bookkeeper saying they were a C3, when in fact they were a C6. So her chamber sent in an application misrepresenting its tax exempt status.
Is that illegal?
Yes, that is a crime.
That is a crime.
I'm going to put this up here for everybody to see.
There's your slide deck.
Right here. This is what it says, tax exempt under section 501c3 of the Internal Revenue Code.
Right.
That is what was required by the city of Tulsa.
Right.
Okay, so now that I've shown everybody that, please go ahead.
Well, I mean, I requested so I sent you all that RFP from the city that explained this is what you have to put in your packet. I requested all of that. And so obviously you see the thing from the bookkeeper that's from 2019 that says C3. I requested disclosures, like since she did not recuse from participating in selecting people, I wanted to know from the city, did she recuse in writing? Because look, in the ethics code, if you put it in writing, hey, I have this potential conflict, as far as I'm concerned, you're square with the house because you put it out there. But she didn't, because as you can see, my response is that they didn't have it. So
I have to say this. If you go to Tulsa City Council ethics code, it does very specifically say, if you have a conflict, you have to present this in writing. In fact, it says you shall.
Right.
Yes, shall means must. But it also says if you have a direct conflict,
you have to recuse yourself.
Right. And so what was happening is you had city councilors who were over however many weeks or months removing applicants, they were going through applications page by page and selecting and narrowing it down to 70 or 74, and then they would allocate and split up $6.5 million. And so now later on, when they went to vote on the ordinance part, like, hey, we're going to do the 6.5 million, she did step away from that vote, but that was after you'd already eliminated all of these eligible people to ensure that you ended up on the winner side. And
so that final vote, how many, so that the vote that she recused herself from
was about money.
They already had decided who was getting it.
Right.
Okay. So
Because
I just want to make that clear.
Yeah. If you look at
Say that again. I'm sorry. Say that again.
Say it again, Tim.
Okay. So she did not recuse herself when deciding which of the businesses would receive the funds.
Right.
But then she finally recused herself when it came to the money that they would allocate, which to me is like splitting hairs, or that seems ridiculous. It's for plausible deniability, no doubt about that, so that she could, I did recuse myself. I have to ask, Jennifer, I put all of those documents that you sent to me, I put them in a folder. Do you mind if I share that with the audience? Or is there something you don't want?
Share the shit, Tim.
Well,
I mean,
if my address...
Oh, I see what you mean. Well, I can wait until after the show, and I can go through there, and we'll make sure, and then we'll share it later.
Because she deals with people that will come and burn your house down If you're, I mean, no,
Calm down, Jennifer. Shit. What?
No, seriously, she has friends who have a history of
It's like
calling people saying you need to pick a side.
It's like she's married to a Tulsa PD detective that is hiding information. I don't know. Anyway, go ahead.
I mean, look, I just really knew immediately that something wasn't right, and I was very careful in looking up stuff, and people know that about me. And so, because I thought, wait a minute, if this doesn't just impact the Greenwood Chamber, there are C3 nonprofits that help our city that suffered through the pandemic, right? Fund wise. So they suffered in helping service the people they suffered or service. And I think I might have said that backwards. But so here we have somebody who is cheating the system, and then ultimately ends up with the 5th largest award of that. Her friends who have their organizations, they all got awards, even though they scored very low. And naturally, the Greenwood Chamber of Commerce and anybody she didn't like didn't make that cut. And that final list of 70, they're all C3s but her, Chamber of Commerce.
Wow. So have you gotten any feedback from any of them with regard to how that went out? Like, what would they say if somebody asked them about it? And for the record, I did reach out to Vanessa Hall-Harper. She is not. She has not reached back out to me for any comments.
No, and she could say I'm just some racist white chick.
And just for the record, I did not reach out to her ass. Whatever.
Well, I wanted to do my due diligence because I saw the paperwork, and politics aside, you should never be part of a vote if you are on the board of the company that is potentially going to be given money by you.
You found ridiculous. And P.S. the employees that are listed in an application, some of them you're related to, or the other two are all, so there's a tinge of nepotism. What I mainly felt like was happening was bigger. It struck me in such a way that I tried to prove myself wrong, and then called a friend who did applied ethics for corporate people in New York. And I'm like, what is this? What I think I'm looking at? And, they were like, yes. And then they said, look, now that you have this, what are you going to do with it? And so I had to really, I knew it was important to just I thought, okay, our city council polices their own ethics, but I'm going to file this no matter what. I know they're not going to agree. I know they're going to come up with some lame excuse for whatever, but I just felt like for me, it was the right thing to do. It was the moral thing to do, to file it no matter what. And then,
you're not profiting off this at all, right?
No. Oh God, no.
I loved reading that complaint, by the way. Once I'm able to share it with everybody, and those who want to read it,
I bet you did, Tim.
It was well written. It sounded like a lawyer had written it. So
I got a little bit of help. Yes, I got a lot of help, because when you do theology, it's more like philosophy, and you could just string stuff out in all kinds of ways.
Oh yeah, that's me. When I start writing, brevity is not my strong suit. It's like that dude never shuts up.
Well, I think what's important here is that if it had been my own city councilor that did this, I would have done the same thing. It's the action behind it, and then because it was clear that you had to, like, if you want the money and you're going to cheat, you have to, and you're going to misrepresent your tax status, you have to violate the ethics code. You got to stay on the committee to make sure what's going on. So they were both kind of intertwined, and that's why I sent what I had also to the IRS, and then this other group that investigated.
You sent it to the IRS?
Yeah, for tax exempt. If you misrepresent your tax exempt status,
they swapped
it. Application for money, It's fraud. It's a crime.
What did the
Right.
IRS say?
Oh, that's going to take a while.
Well, I sent something to the IRS May 17th, and then something was sent to a very specific Office of Inspector General around the same time. And just last week, I heard back from both of them, and they asked for more information. And then they said, oh, and by the way, after this, you won't hear from us because we don't talk about our investigations.
Right.
So I know there are 2 open files now.
So I want to show this to everybody because now you're saying that whenever the funds were given, they did list themselves in the vote as a 501c6. Is that correct?
No.
Okay, because here's the application, this return as a 501c3.
That's
which
that's their application for the money.
Right. But when it came down to it, they swapped to a 501c6 immediately after this, correct?
No.
Okay, so they were always a 501c6?
Yes, they were a 501c6 from July of 2020.
So they just basically, is from what you're saying, that would be considered fraud. That's
right.
Yeah, that's a tax fraud, I believe would,
Right,
I mean,
because if you go to the IRS and you look, you can easily find a letter for a nonprofit, and it says it's like dated July 2020 from the IRS, and it says, congratulations, you changed now to C6 exempt status as of July 2020. So they didn't submit that. They submitted this old one from a bookkeeper.
wow.
Oh wow!
Wow.
Wow! Yeah, that's
So see, you have to kind of think, okay, so we now know also that an audit was done, and nobody vetted these applications before.
Why do you think Vanessa Hall-Harper is so invested in this, getting Black Wall Street money? Let's get into it. Let's go.
I mean, she can't be on the chamber for Greenwood Chamber. She tried to get the building. She can't get the buildings. I think that I don't know. I think
it's speculation. I guess
it's all speculation.
It's greed. It's just greed. It's I'm going to get mine. That's it.
I wonder if at some point she was hurt by the people who were in charge of, in whatever way that she perceives it, some kind of slight that she felt, whether it was intended or not. And then so now she just comes at, I'm going to take care of that. I wonder if that maybe.
I don't know. No, well, that's not been her practice. I know that there was a time in the 2010s she tried to take over the Tulsa chapter of NAACP in a similar way as the Greenwood Chamber, and that didn't work. They had someone call me up one time because they wanted to take over a Tulsa Black Lives Matter ministry because they wanted to control.
Who is this, Jennifer?
Huh?
So Oklahoma Rhinos Exposed asked, Jennifer, what do the other counselors say about this?
I don't think they say anything. I think they're afraid of her.
Well, we will be reaching out to all of them. I'm going to keep following up with Vanessa Hall-Harper.
So many people watching right now. So many people watching.
Good luck. Yeah. Listen. So for the people that are watching, I don't have a beef with her personally. I have a beef with the action because it has harmed people. It has cheated people. And it has created a culture of corruption now that is part of the fabric of our city council. And I don't want to see that happening. And so, there are people that are just looking the other way. And not doing anything. So it's emboldening when you don't check somebody, then they're emboldened. And so you've tried to take over this and that didn't work. You tried to take over the Greenwood Chamber. That didn't work. You have some people call me and tell me that they want to take over this other ministry thing from this other guy. And so you can control the narrative. There's some real specific actions that keep coming up, right? You've got people calling businesses, new business owners on Greenwood Avenue saying, pick a side. Calling me, telling me.
What does that mean, pick a side? What does that mean?
Meaning her side or Greenwood. One or the
That's
other.
so gross. That's so gross.
I don't know how she would feel slighted. She's been busy, very busy.
Well, I mean, people feel slighted for any small thing, but I want to point out to anybody watching that Greenwood Chamber of Commerce, the thing that she initially tried to change the bylaws of initially and failed. In fact, a court told her she couldn't do it, right?
She had no standing to do it.
Right. That Chamber of Commerce, Greenwood Chamber of Commerce, has been around since the 1920s.
Forever.
This isn't something that just popped up. Yet the Black Wall Street Chamber of Commerce started in 2018?
And they don't own anything.
And then all of a sudden they're trying to get like $250,000. They're getting $250,000 from the city after they just started. Tell me that makes sense.
Come on.
Make it make sense. It makes no sense. Do you have any theories, Jennifer, as to is there
and this
maybe
is total
yeah. We'll go conspiracy mode for a second.
I'm not I don't know that I have a conspiracy mode.
Okay,
don't do that shit. Come on now.
Fair enough.
I think that she just I don't know what is going on in her brain. I think to me, it's like, what a waste of a sharp lady.
She is very sharp.
That she does. Right? It's like, you don't even need to go there. You're that smart.
There's a parallel here, and forgive me, but I've been wanting to say this, but
say
when you were describing Vanessa and the actions she took, not necessarily her as a person. I'm sure she is a wonderful person as far as that goes.
Whatever.
Yeah, I'm sure she is. But when you were describing the actions she took, the person that kept coming in my head was Rhonda Vollamont Smith. This is the same shit. It's the same stuff.
That's the truth, Tim. Speak it.
Where they get this core of people that have some kind of power.
And then happens when they get together very
right. And Rhonda is very good at this. Okay, that woman is
the best.
I have to tip my hat off to her. She has everybody just groveling in front of her. I don't know that Vanessa is to that point yet, but it looks like she's trying to get there.
Well, no, I mean, I think there's a core group of about 5 to 7 people, but the rest of them, I don't know.
They're so powerful, though.
Right, that's what happens. But see, and here's the thing. That's what happens when you're not paying attention and the hustlers on your block, you're going to get hustled. And and then that's just it. I mean,
Bring that back up. Bring that back up, Tim.
Robin?
Yeah, Robin.
Yeah, she said she thinks the rabbit hole goes very deep.
I don't know. I mean, I don't
know.
I think it does. I think it does.
So, and I also want to bring up, and this is
What's
probably
up, Lane?
Totally unrelated to this issue, perhaps, but her husband was a police officer and had been accused of covering up for a murder, wasn't it?
Still under investigation, as far as I know.
Still under investigation.
Cheating or something.
Yeah, the details of that are a little convoluted to me. And I was reading about it, and it kind of sounded like somebody may have been going after their family. So there could be this behind the scenes quarrel with groups of people that we don't know about.
No,
that's your liberal side, Tim.
That's my
your
conspiracy.
That's your liberal side. Yeah.
When I read the affidavit, probable cause with her husband and the other officer, it sounds like they didn't follow the policy, the letter of the law, and what they were supposed to do, and then maybe just tried to come back around and get away with it. And we have a police chief now that doesn't allow that to happen. And
this police chief, he's black.
And
why did everybody get so silent and awkward? He's black. He's black.
Him being black doesn't.
Franklin is awesome.
Whatever. I love the dude.
We have a great police chief.
I'm sorry. I say weird shit. I'm sorry.
But
Well,
I
to me,
yeah.
it's not common to see police holding themselves accountable, because like when I read that stuff, it didn't sound like there was some like overt act or malicious act on her husband's part.
Right.
It almost sounded like he was kind of dragged into it and then was like,
Well,
oh shit.
probably, but they do have a policy that they have a duty to. They have a duty
Sure.
if they know something, if
Jennifer,
their partner or whatever. It's part of our TBD policy that they have to report it. And so,
Jennifer, give me just a second with my friend Tim.
okay,
Tim, you know that police take care of police. What you have said
Of
this on
course they
fucking.
do.
You've
Yeah.
said this on so many fucking episodes.
That's why I'm saying it is a surprise to me that they are going after one of their own, because they typically don't. Even for things like this. I mean, I've seen cops that were literally planting drugs on people. This one dude had put hundreds of people behind bars after having planted the drugs on these people.
so why are you saying that this is not the case? Absolutely is the fucking case.
I mean, we don't know that. We'll see once the
Whatever.
trial is
I don't
finished.
know. I mean, yeah. I mean, look, and that's the thing. The affidavit probable cause. I mean, look at what I sent to the IRS or my ethic. You know, this is
Right.
I presented what I think has occurred, and you know, even and I know that
So many people watching. I'm
know
sorry,
she
Jennifer. Go ahead.
everybody, there's no other rational explanation for it. Okay, fine. But does that mean that she will be prosecuted for it? Well, that's a whole other story
Yeah,
that you never know, right? So
you never do.
you never know if they're going to prosecute or not. And that's okay. I just did what I felt was the right thing to do for me and my conscience, because I felt like, okay, wait, now I know this. If I don't say something, if I don't turn this over to people who have the means and expertise to deal with it, then I'm part of the problem too. And I'm not doing that to my friends and family on Greenwood. No way.
Mad respect, because and even from here, the information needs to be out there, and that's really why Ron and I were so excited to have you on the program, because I have had issues with the local news media just not running a story because
Why is the media not on this?
That was going to be my question. What has the response from the media been?
Well, the media doesn't want to tell you about white cops getting shot, or the media doesn't want to show white people getting shot by cops. The media is no longer, it's like journalism doesn't exist anymore. It's all about.
It's because of socialism.
I don't know about. I mean, I'm not going to get into any of those kind of things, but
it's Biden's fault.
It's Biden's fault.
I know that.
Well, have you reached out to the local media?
I think somebody leaked some stuff to the media, and then the city gave some convoluted answer about, I don't know, that she did recuse. But see, they're still talking about the money. And then somebody from the city auditor's office said something like, well, the federal rule said that they could give the money to whoever. And she gave
federal rules, whatever.
No, she listed the page number of one or two sentences of like a 40-page federal final rule from a year and a half after this was done. And it said that cities could set up how they gave it away. Well, the city of Tulsa set up that it was 501c3.
Right.
So,
right.
So that's the point. And so you can't come back around then and say, oh, but we decided to make an exception for a city councilor and her business chamber. Because, I mean, what C6 is out there? Can you imagine them finding this out after the fact? Wait, we could have applied.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, so they can't, I'm not upset with the city about this. I mean, when I requested documents, unlike Mr. Durbin, I got them all back in a timely fashion.
I can't believe you brought up Mr. Durbin.
I requested things very specifically. I got it back. The city clerk's office was great. The city attorney, Mr. Bolden, who just retired, he was very helpful in answering a lot of my questions as far as he could. He would answer them as far as he could, as the city attorney. And so he knew. I think he knew where I was going, and despite knowing that, he still, did what they did their job, and I really
What's
appreciated that.
what's your next step? Because I know you spoke at the city council and you read this whole ethics violation. And if you want to read it, it's I think it's on my page and a couple of the pages. But what's your next step? What do we do from here?
Well,
I
That's
know.
that's a tough one. Yeah.
I went before the council and made a public comment. I referred back to Councilor Lakin and said it's time for the city council to stop policing its own ethics complaints. I mean, they haven't done that, and they've not changed anything about that in almost 13 years. And Councilor Lakin worked really hard, and I sort of pulled him back into that conversation. I hope they do, because I knew when I filed that, I knew it was going to go to the city council. And my point is that if I could have sent my complaint to the ethics committee, I would have just sent it there and asked for an opinion. I wouldn't
Right.
I would have done it like that, but that wasn't an option for me. I had to send it to the person I was complaining about, kind of thing. And
So you're saying there's no avenue aside from the city council itself to complain about city council?
if you are a citizen, you can file an anonymous complaint on a tip line, but that's stupid.
Horseshit.
And you won't get. See, I got a written disposition. You won't get an answer. You won't ever know. And the tip line is just. I think that's silly.
But
that's
who
horseshit.
handles the tip line?
I don't know, some third party call center, I guess. I don't know. I've never called it. That's not me. If I want to know if I think something went wrong, I'm going to type it out and hand it in. I want you to answer me by email. So
Because you're American.
So what would you like to see? What would you like to see happen? Like, if you could change something about it, what would that thing be?
Well, we already know that when they went to do the vote for round 2 ARPA funds, we were sitting at a 4:00 meeting and we watched Vanessa violate the ethics code then, because they were moving people over to a list so that they could do letters to request the second round of money. And she should have recused from a vote because her friend was asking for, $500,000. And she went ahead and voted and was the tiebreaker vote for her friend. So,
Wow.
Are you serious?
yeah.
You can back this up?
Yeah, there's video of it. We have video of it. We were sitting there in the room taping it. Yeah.
Y'all, and this is what's so important about this stuff, because these are little transgressions that cause huge issues. And whenever, like you said earlier, when nobody calls these people out on it, they are emboldened and they just keep doing it over and over again. So we really have to put some pressure on the city council and maybe even the attorneys to finally, maybe, I don't know, at the very least, put in a third-party ethics commission that deals with this stuff.
Look, they've been yapping. Well, at least 3 people. I know Robin was there. They have been yapping, at least 3 of them, about this police independent oversight kind of thing. No.
Many people watching. I love this, Tim. I'm
crap.
sorry.
That is
Sorry.
crap. Here's where you need independent oversight, is on the city council, because they cannot and should not be policing themselves.
They can't.
Nobody should.
They can't.
Nobody should.
That's so not normal.
Right.
And so it's unfortunate. And that's what I said to the council a few weeks ago, is that we're just a tick away from corruption. And I don't want that to happen. And so, there are people sitting on that council right now that know certain violations that have been committed, where people are drinking alcohol and carrying their gun at lunch, and they won't say anything because they're okay. I mean, we have people looking the other way, and that's why.
Jennifer, what's wrong with drinking alcohol and carrying a gun?
It's a felony.
Right.
Oh,
I was
okay.
about to
Sorry.
say you're not supposed to be drunk and have a gun on you at the same time.
I was fixing to scream America. I was like, that
No, but
sounds like
P.S.
American shit. I don't know.
P.S. They're public servants.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
You understand? They have a fiduciary duty to do what is in the best interest of the public, not themselves.
And I mean, I don't know if any of them like get to the point of being drunkards, at these meetings, but they shouldn't be drinking while they're at work. I mean,
I don't know. I don't know. There's some kind of thing about going to the brook for lunch, and one
and
of them,
that's fine. Like a glass of wine or a beer,
I don't
that.
know. Somebody said that it's against city policy to do it, and only
I,
one of them does it. So
I know a school board member who wouldn't be able to.
I like mimosas. I'm just saying.
I mean, I don't know. In the grand scheme of things, I'm like, okay, then because I'm thinking, look at all the people that got cheated out of ARPA round one.
Right.
So
$250,000 or 2 glasses of wine instead of one. Which hill do I die on here? Yeah.
I have to ask you this. I have to ask y'all this. Years ago, when Terrence Crutcher was killed by Betty, what's her name? Betty
Shelby.
Betty Shelby.
Wasn't it Shelby?
It was Shelby. It was Betty Shelby. He was killed because he wasn't obeying commands because he was high on PCP or whatever. And I don't have a problem saying that because I wrote a long letter to Terrence Crutcher and I was like, I'm mad at you because you could have been a wonderful member of society and taught people and this and that. But my letter was shared like 3,500 times. It went viral. But anyway,
I don't think she should have shot him, but
no, I do think she should. I do.
Don't. I
Tim?
I agree with Jennifer on this one.
Piss off, both of y'all. Piss off. Anyway.
I learned a lot from that, but yeah. So
anyway, hey, Jennifer, if you don't mind, I'm going to finish my story. Here's what's going to happen. Anyway, Terrence Crutcher Foundation was founded. Wonderful, wonderful foundation. I love it. It's great.
Is it? Is it really?
I don't know, but it serves the black community. I don't like the name of it because he was a drug addict. You're not going to follow the Ron Cosby Foundation with an ankle bracelet on and shit like that. But anyway,
I got $10 for that, Ron. I'll donate.
Okay, you'll donate. Yeah. This is selfish of me, and I'm a selfish narcissist, so I'm going to do this. How does this tie in with the Terrence Crutcher Foundation, Black Wall Street, and charity BLM Marcus? Does it? Do you have anything you can give me? Just a little snippet?
All work together. Look up the board on the Black Wall Street Chamber. Look who's on it. Look at the names. Look at the people they say they work with. If you've never been on Greenwood at the time when they painted Black Lives Matter on the street, you would.
What's up, Nate Dogg? Nate Morris? I'm sorry. Nate Morris.
Go ahead, Jennifer.
Nate Morris. It's that Nate Morris online.
Now, Marianne has a comment here I'd like to put up.
Oh, I love Marianne. Hey, Marianne.
Yeah, if the council members who have this information and they don't ask for a vote of no confidence, wouldn't they be complicit?
Yes, ma'am. I think so.
But the council would say probably no.
Right.
I mean,
right.
Yeah.
But it's similar to the way that, I look at police officers. It's like, look, if you have an officer that does something really bad and none of y'all said anything about it or tried to stop it, that kind of lumps them all in the same issue. Like if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem.
Let me ask y'all this, and I'm getting off topic.
I'll interrupt you really quick, Ron.
Go ahead, Jennifer. You're the only person that's ever done it. Go ahead.
There are 3 or 4 people that are always together. Tiffany Crutcher, Vanessa Hall-Harper, Christy Williams, and company. Okay.
Please say Charity Marcus.
And Charity Marcus. Absolutely.
Okay, thank you for that.
And they have people everywhere doing stuff everywhere all the time, but that's a core group of people. And so
can I ask you a difficult question?
Is it going to be difficult?
It's going to be really difficult.
Okay.
Chamber of Commerce, which I cannot stand any Chamber of Commerce, but Black Wall Street Times, Greenwood, what do they do? What do they do for the community? Have they held events?
Oh, well, okay.
Okay, come at me, bro.
Now, the Black Wall Street Times supports the Black Wall Street Chamber. They support that team over there, and they do a lot of writing that's geared towards the Black community and justice and things like that. They lost my respect over the Julius Jones stuff. Um,
Oh, Tim's gonna come at you hard on that one.
anyway, so the Greenwood Chamber has like this world class women's business resource center. They have people that have come from Washington to applaud their business resource stuff, where they help people, especially women, open businesses and with resources that way. They have events like an open market and stuff like that on the weekends. They do all kinds of stuff, and I think the Black Wall Street Chamber or some other place that they're linked up with host a festival every year, and you have to pay to be a vendor and stuff like that. So but I have seen, and that's kind of a little, it's different though, because like the chamber owns the buildings, and so they're continually trying to keep the buildings up to code and make sure that everything's running right and their business owners are happy and stuff. So when you don't own property like the Black Wall Street Chamber doesn't, it's different what they do. And so that's why when I said earlier, it's sad that someone would just go after the Greenwood Chamber. I'm going to start my own chamber and compete, because what really would have been the coolest thing for the broader public, at least the optics, is to be the expansion of what happened originally, and that started when our city was incorporated, right, on Deep Greenwood. So the broader extension, the success of it is still going, but that isn't the way she went. She wanted.
I love your enthusiasm. I really do. Tim, are you feeling her enthusiasm?
Yes, and I agree with what you're saying. It seems like that would have been the most logical way to go about it, and because the point is to serve that community that
Right.
really was thriving back, in the 1900s, and then
Right.
the race massacre happened.
100%.
And,
100%.
all those businesses went poof. Yeah. So whatever can help North Tulsa, especially.
Absolutely.
Get where they were before, I'm all aboard.
Well, and that's an interesting thing to try to navigate, because the city owns a lot of that land now, right? And there's homes there and things like that. So, I think the Black Wall Street Chamber has this fund that people can donate to, and she's talked about buying back Greenwood. Well, it's hard to know. The same stuff's not for sale anymore. And who's going to sell it to you, right? If they're making money off of it. The railroad's not going to sell you anything. So it's hard to understand the concept of what they're doing. But all I know is that
I have to ask you this, Jennifer. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Somebody just sent me a private message, and they said they're watching. We have so many people. It's crazy. Okay. We had Shelly Gwartney on here from BA, and I thought that was going to be the limelight of our show. But ask Jennifer if she knows if Tulsa Juneteenth also received funds. What does that even mean?
Well, that would be maybe on that list. So if you go to the city website, and it's in that packet I gave you, there's a PDF, and it gave you the final 70 people that got money for ARPA funding. So I presumably there's an organization called Juneteenth that
yes, it's a 501c3. So it would have been in the running, legally, I guess, based on their.
Yeah. I would be surprised. Well, no, because I think the Black Wall Street Chamber has a lot to do with Juneteenth things. So
they do, but it may be it's like a spinoff of where some of the people started it, but it is a 501c3. I just looked it up.
Okay. Then great. If they didn't get any money, I'm sorry.
Tulsa, I'm gonna tell both of y'all right now. Tulsa Juneteenth is owned by Vanessa Hall-Harper and Charity Marcus.
And Charity Marcus.
Yes, sir.
You know what? Let me pull this up real quick.
Okay, so remember, you said we had going to do this in 3 parts.
I know, but it's so good. It's
It
so
is.
good.
Yeah, so we can. I'll do some digging into that, and we'll bring some more information up.
Yeah, we're
and
coming
we'll-
up on 10 minutes. We can't get into the yeah.
Yeah, there's plus.
I mean,
I'd have to be looking this up while
So
we're
many
live,
people
so.
are watching. Oh my god.
I
What's
mean,
up,
look,
Joe?
Here is the, I don't know. See, I can't see who's watching, but for whoever is watching, right? All I did was what I felt was the right thing to do for people that I care about dearly in North Tulsa. If I'm in District 9, and if my city councilor was doing my people in District 9 the same way, I'd be raising the same kind of flags if there was something illegal or I felt illegal was going on. My own city councilor will tell you I would do that. But in Greenwood, in District 1, this is something that is entirely different on a level that I've never seen before. And the broader community needs to know that we've got some small businesses on that historic block, God-fearing, hardworking people, and every day they have to live under this thing that is sucking the life and the air out of Greenwood, and yet professing to everyone else,
That it's for their
they're
own
not
good.
doing the blueprint. It's just this weird thing. It's like, why go out
And they spend
so much
all that energy on it
And
instead of
so unmerited. It is not merited whatsoever. None. I mean, so
Okay.
whoever's listening, go to Black Wall Street, get your feet on the concrete down there, go talk to
Yes.
Chris at the souvenir shop, go in the bodega, go upstairs and look at the Women's Resource Center. I mean, go.
Is there a bodega?
Yeah, there's a little store there. I love the store. I love the lady in the store. Yeah, absolutely.
That's so New
Go
York
get
City.
some Frio stuff. I mean, look, go down there and talk to everybody. The tour guys are always there. It's they're just the most fantastic people you've ever met. Wisdom, I mean, everything. And you just go, wow, what's she doing? You go, what's her beef with these people? What's
Tim,
her beef?
hang on a second, Jennifer. Calm down, Jennifer. Damn, you're so you're too
She's
much,
good.
Jennifer. Just
No,
calm down.
she's not too much.
Think about it. Think about it.
Tim, this is
Go
what I
wrong.
gotta say. Black Wall. This is private messages. I can't say who sent it to me, but Black Wall. This is people that's watching the show right now. There's so many people watching. Black Wall Street, Tulsa, Juneteenth. Their office at 1800 South Baltimore,
Yeah.
along with Charity's PR firm,
Right.
Avenue PR.
Mhm.
Same office.
Right.
Office hours 9 to 3, Wednesday
Right.
through Friday.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
so I mean, yeah, it's that group of people, but and look, these are people that hover around the
100%.
circle of Rhonda
You've
Smith
seen
as well.
it. You've seen it. Rhonda Smith, who runs the Tulsa County GOP.
It
Tim,
wouldn't
you've seen it.
surprise me if we're getting into conspiracy mode, but yeah, this is
It's
we've-
something. See, it's interesting is I have spoken to Vanessa once on her own. I've spoken to Tiffany Crutcher, individually.
Really?
Each one of these people at different times over the years, individually, just casual conversation. You go, wow, it's a really sharp lady, but then there's something that happens. There's something happened when they got together, and I don't know. It's like
That's right, Tim. Tim's right. It's money.
It is about money
and control, and power,
Money,
like if
power. Yeah,
Who
and
the fuck is Oklahoma Rhinos Exposed?
I don't know, but I think it's hilarious.
I've seen that somewhere.
Rhonda is learning the ropes from Charity.
Well,
That's
now
funny.
listen, I'm not a fan of Rhonda, and I'll tell you why. Because
I don't mean to offend you by saying the F word too. I'm sorry.
Rhonda. I watched Rhonda and a group of people attack Pastor Ferner outside of City Hall a couple
Who?
of years ago.
Attack who?
Attack a pastor outside of City Hall, and just really got her crowd of people going. And before you knew it, the pastor and his people that were having.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
I know what you're talking
yeah.
about. Yeah.
They were calling him a pedophile. They got spat on, and I mean, it was getting bad and riled up. And
Was this the Roberta Fan Still thing?
no,
No. This was way
Okay.
back. Yeah.
it was
Okay.
really ugly. And
Wow.
and then out of nowhere, all of a sudden, out of nowhere comes Christian Bengal to shut it down. Finally,
Right.
where it was going to get bad.
Right.
And I watched Rhonda. I mean, look, there's certain things that you just don't do. And he was a black pastor. He was doing something he'd been doing every Wednesday for a couple of years. And then when they saw him show up to do his thing, their anti-mask protest suddenly turned into a let's attack the black pastor.
Wow.
It was the most horrible thing I'd ever seen. And I felt terrible because she was standing in front of him, screaming at him like he was a pedophile and all of this. And that was wrong. I mean, here's a little historical teaching piece. That's how people got lynched in the past. Some woman screaming about something about a black man. And that's all it would take for white people to go and hang him downtown.
Which is interesting because that's how the Tulsa Race Massacre started.
I take
Jeez.
exception. I would not. Whatever.
Oh, quit.
That is true.
Let it lie, Ron. Let that one simmer.
Okay.
Yeah, let that one simmer. But that's why I don't like Rhonda. I thought it was really wrong to act that way. I couldn't believe that she was representative of the party.
I have to point something out here.
Okay.
I got shit on by my attorney who is real good friends with these people. The reason she didn't like me is because I have resting dick face and I say curse words, and I'm just, I'm not smiley and whatever. Yet these same people who scream at Melissa at a Terra meeting and tell her to sit down and shut up will turn around and do things like what you just described there, while at the same time act like they are better than these other people are, that they're just morally superior in some way. And these people, it's gross.
Just to add to that, these people, Rhonda herself showed up in Owasso to support Tim, the liberal loudmouth, when he was banned by public schools. So this speaks to it's just whatever somebody is into at the moment. And that's not what we're about.
It's not what I'm about either. I mean, I'm a nobody. I don't have any political aspirations. I just try to do the right thing.
I think you should have some political aspirations.
I was about to say.
Yeah.
No. I mean, I do alert neighbor stuff and an owl live stream. So for barred owls, and I take care of my mom, and that's it. And I don't have any clout. I'm a nobody. I'm just Jennifer, and that's all I've got is my.
That's what we need, though, Jennifer. That's what we need.
No, I'm not doing it, and I never will. I mean,
Tim,
it's just that is not my calling, and so sometimes I come down from the bleachers, and I will
whoop some ass.
I will do like what I did with this ethics complaint. It's not the first time I've done that. And
I can't wait. We're coming up on an hour,
we'll
but
see what the feds have
I can't wait for the next. This is good shit, Tim.
There's a couple of comments I want to get to. First of all, Tina, always follow the money. I called Charity and Rhonda as controlled opposition years ago. Marianne, thanks you, Jennifer. We're similar in researching information on elected officials who aren't truthful. Right is right.
I love Marianne.
Thank you for that comment. And here we go. After helping elect Elena, I saw Rhonda and Charity firsthand act oddly. Yeah, they really did. They kind of
Rhonda, and I will even say Rhonda, Charity, and Bob Jack. Piss off.
Yeah, Bob Jack, I know you're going to watch this. You can just kiss it, buddy. Sorry, Jennifer didn't say that.
You guys asked me to be here to talk about what I did. And
Love it.
Yes.
And that was, I did something because I felt like the people in District 1 were getting cheated. The people at the Greenwood Chamber and those small businesses, they got cheated. any see whatever, people got cheated in an action that should have never happened. And that doesn't have anything to do with Rhonda. And
Piss on
people,
Rhonda.
I mean, it would be
I can't
great.
stand Rhonda.
People need to understand that there is this great group of hardworking people that need our support, because nobody downtown is sticking up for them. And they work all the time and they stick up for themselves, but it's time for people to do and say, wait a minute, you shouldn't be doing that. Call your city councilor. Why are you looking the other way?
That is it. Call and text, email,
whatever.
Communicate with your city councilor.
Yeah, if they get
and don't expect them to do it, but just communicate it anyway. I mean,
one thing I've learned while being an activist, if you want to call me that, is perseverance pays off.
It does. Tim is living proof of that.
Even if, and to Jennifer's credit, she did it. She kept going, and now she's following those steps. And now, as Jennifer said, everybody needs to come out and show some support to these people, because they're, some people are getting a raw end of the deal for no good reason.
I mean, look, I didn't take any pleasure in doing that at all. I didn't want to do that. It was really, I felt like, wow, I shouldn't have to do this. But I did. And I mean, that was the thing, is where you feel like your internal barometer is just, it's stuck over here. And so you got to do it. If, all she had to do was recuse.
That's it.
As far as I'm concerned, all you had to do was recuse in writing.
It was written in black and white what she needed to do.
That's all you had to do. And as far as I'm concerned, you're square with the house. But that's not what you did.
Yeah. And now I do want to apologize to you, Jennifer, for bringing in Rhonda and Charity and all that stuff, because that's it is a side issue, but
that's my fault. That's my fault.
No,
I'm sorry.
because Charity goes after Greenwood Chamber.
But the reason that it's, even though it's a side issue, is that every time you see these things happening in Tulsa in this way, for some reason, there's Rhonda, there's Charity.
Yeah, there's Vanessa, there's Tiffany. Right, you're absolutely right.
So while they may not have any direct responsibility for this, this is, yes, reach out to Tulsa, but please just be careful and just know that this cabal, if you will, of people are out there in Tulsa. I mean,
this has gotten so bad for some people. The discussion is out there about a citizens grand jury petition. I have that is the talk that I have. That's the scuttlebutt I'm hearing now. And so
that's good shit. That's good shit.
I wouldn't even know the first thing about that. I did enough research for my brain cells to be on a vacation.
I will say this. What we allow to continue will always continue.
Right.
And Tim, if you will pull up whoever the fuck Oklahoma Rhinos exposed.
How the GOP could, I don't know.
I think the question here in this podcast is, when are Tulsans going to start protecting their neighbors in District 1 and the small business owners on North Greenwood Avenue, the historic 100 block of North Greenwood Avenue?
It's a pretty block too. It's really pretty.
Now, work their ass off.
Well, let me ask you, do you think it's a fair statement to say that there is still room for both the Black Wall Street Chamber and Greenwood to exist and coexist if they can finally kind of stop fighting?
They should, because the Greenwood Chamber is about those buildings.
Right. Let me answer that after she's done.
Okay.
I mean, that's ridiculous that it isn't right now.
That's great. Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Go ahead, Ron.
Here's my answer to that question. Black Wall Street Times wants to just no. I don't agree with that. No, I don't.
I mean, I appreciate what the Black Wall Street Times does.
Why? Why do you do that?
They inform people, and maybe it's skewed in some way, but there's a way to fix. there's a way to fix that. There's a way to
You
fix
know,
it.
when that Julius Jones thing happened, I used to love reading what Nehemiah Frank would write. And then
Oh my God, Jennifer.
now let me finish. It was about 2017-ish that I noticed it changed a little bit and he wrote a little less. But then with the Julius Jones thing, if you were anybody like me who actually read the case files, you knew that people who were saying he was innocent were full of crap.
Nehemiah Jones, kiss my
and
ass,
he was on
Nehemiah.
that train. See, and Vanessa was on that train. I work in public safety. I do alert neighbor stuff. And to see elected officials get on this, let's release a rightfully convicted killer, that's scary. That's some scary stuff. But they all
Tim,
got
what do
on
you think about that?
They
I
got
don't-
that train for the money and the name recognition and all of that stuff.
I don't know enough about the case to
I-
make an educated assertion
You know about Julius Jones?
I know about him, but I've never read the case files. I haven't looked at
man.
the evidence. I haven't gone through that whole thing.
If you ask
just-
Nehemiah, he'll say, I haven't read it and don't ask me about it.
Right.
But see, with the
what they
difference
said.
being that I won't speak about it in
Yeah.
any certain way because I don't know. I'd have
That's
to look
why,
at it first.
that's why I love you, Tim, in a platonic way.
Yeah. Don't ever watch a TV show. Docudramas about this guy's innocent are typically from the appellate attorney's, appellate or defense attorney's side. They're
Except for
giving-
making a murderer.
Right. That kind of stuff. It's called
Yeah.
Innocent Project, and that was a Julius Jones thing. And
Jennifer, let me ask you this. Will you come on next week and we can discuss this further? Because I'm really liking this conversation, but I'm tired and it's
I'm too.
it's an hour 10.
what? Yes, absolutely.
I think this needs Tim, what do you think? I mean, honestly.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I think this is important for Tulsans because nobody's talking about this, and this is important. This is the basic corruption. It seems to me right in their backyard. So
Something
if you can root it out, or at least get a bunch of people to look at it, because what I know about the internet is people dig everything up.
There's so many people watching right now. I can't believe this.
If you have enough people looking into something, they'll find something. So if there's more to this story, then we'll figure it out. But I would like to get with you, Jennifer, and
Okay.
we can talk about the other side of that if you want for the next episode.
We can talk about a lot, and that would be in the interest that and the end game here is that people learn that they need to be informed, and there's some kind of community healing that goes on and support and
Whatever. You're getting really liberal, Jennifer, right now.
But here's the thing. I just can't abide by people attacking deep greenwood without merit. It just is so unmerited and it's awful, and I hate to see it. I hate to see our city elected leaders involved in it. It has to stop. I'd like to see it stop. And
Well, let me say this. Tim has reached out to Vanessa Hall-Harper several times, right?
Yes. Yeah, I've received nothing. I mean,
Well, she might now. I don't know. She might want to come back on just to cuss me out. So
she's welcome to come on the show. I mean, I'd have her on the show to talk
Absolutely.
You can
about
have
it.
her on the show, and we could talk about her bringing Jay Morrison to Tulsa. And
Jay
ripping
Morrison.
people
Tim,
off.
I've sent you this.
500 bucks a head.
I don't know. What
I'll
you're
remind
referring to.
you.
We could have her on. We can talk about Jay Morrison. We can talk about historic Greenwood Main Street program. We can talk
Yeah,
about
I'll remind you, Tim. But Tim's reached out to her.
Yeah.
Liberals block me. I mean,
yes.
they
Republicans block me, so
And they
it's
do.
not like
They do.
it's not like this is a solely liberal thing here.
I see. I'm neither one of those, so I guess maybe.
Are you independent?
Yes.
Are you really?
Yes.
That makes
Yeah.
me feel so much better about bringing you on the show.
Why? What did
I
you?
thought you were Republican all the way.
Yeah, I mean, I
Do you believe in abortion?
and it's not relevant to the show, but
It's not.
the look on Ron's face is, I think, worth,
Well, I mean,
worth
because
the
you're
entire
a dude.
episode.
Well, I mean, you're a dude talking to a woman about abortion,
That
and
here,
I'm thinking, do I believe I have a right to make decisions about?
here's the thing. Let me preface this.
I love
Let me
I
preface
love
this.
it.
I've had this conversation with Tim. I'm a dude. There's no way, even if I was liberal or Republican or conservative or whatever, there's no way I could tell a woman what to do with her body because of civil liberties.
Right.
Yeah, and
Thank
you're
you.
dude,
Thank you. Oh
and
my
you're
God.
dude. Like, guys making decisions about what women do or feel is weird to me, but
Well, I mean,
Ugh.
it's really kind of been happening since the beginning of time, anyway. But
it
I
has
mean,
been.
if-
And on behalf of all the other men, I apologize to all the men out there. I said it.
well, I mean, I am
shit.
I'm a registered independent.
Are you really?
Yes.
I thought you were a Republican. Damn.
No. Now, hear me out. Here, I mostly vote red, except for president.
Tim voted for Ryan Walters.
I did. Well, okay. Let's clarify that. I voted against Gina Nelson because she didn't want me to vote for her.
Okay.
Gina,
Okay.
if you're watching this, good job. Look what you did.
Yeah, I see, and that's here's what's really important about this. See, we're talking about city councilors. That's municipal stuff. That's the stuff
Yes.
that affects us every day directly.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Water,
Yes.
public safety, all of that stuff.
Infrastructure,
Municipal
yeah.
affairs.
Taxes.
Please, dear God, keep the Rhonda Smith shit out of our streets and our
God, I love you,
Jennifer.
Jennifer.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
this is where the public is most impacted directly, and that's why people, when they say, "Oh, I didn't know that was going on with the city," or the latest IoT thing, I didn't know that was going on. You didn't. You should.
Right.
Yeah.
Be American. Pay attention to shit. Yeah.
Well, so
You
Go ahead,
so
Tim.
well,
Go ahead.
Jennifer, we
Synonymous.
are we're coming to the end of the show. I mean, we're way past, but
Okay.
I want to give you a couple of minutes to have a last message to everybody, to implore them to do something. Whatever you need to say. Go.
I don't really. That you just asked me
She's
a
choking.
really
Yeah,
loaded
she's choking
question.
up, Tim.
You asked me a loaded question. I did some stuff after I found. I did my homework on an issue, and I really, struggled with doing something, but I did it because it was the right thing to do. And if anybody thinks I did the wrong thing, well, I don't care, because I lost a lot of sleep over this because it was so hard for me to actually see that reality, but it really was what I saw. And so sometimes you have to just, that it is what it is. It doesn't mean I hate her. It just means that she did some things. This isn't about her personally. It's the action part. And if one person gets away with that kind of stuff, then it's easier for the next and next and next. And all of a sudden we're all corrupt. And people need to be more informed. Don't just go along with your ideologue buddies. If they say go along with this, go check it out first, because at least half the time they're not going to know what they're talking about that they've asked you to go along with. Do your homework and do what's right, no matter what you think the end result's going to be.
Love it. Love it.
That's fantastic, Jennifer. I hope to see you back here next week. We'll work out the details for that if you're good with it. It was a pleasure talking to you today. Ron, do you have any words for Jennifer?
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me on. I mean, hopefully my house won't be burned down by tomorrow.
Well, let's hope not. And geez, I didn't even want to think about that. But I'm going to go ahead and pull you out, and me and Ron are going to end the show. If you want to stick around in the backstage, we'll catch up with you on the other side.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
See ya. Thank you.
Dude.
Ron, that's what people needed to see, man.
That was real shit. That was real shit.
It was, and I'm so glad that she came on and
I told
got
you
that
that
out.
you would not be disappointed in that.
Yeah, I mean, when I read the documentation that she sent, I, clearly was interested because I'm like, I don't know if there's some ulterior thing going on here, but just based on what she did and not recusing herself from the vote, that's unethical. And if you're willing to do one unethical thing, what the hell else are you willing to do?
Right. I want to get Vanessa Hall-Harper on the show and ask her to defend this.
And that's why I tried to reach out to her. Because I didn't want to have zero input from the other
Right.
side before I brought somebody on to talk about it, because I'd never heard of this issue before it was brought up before. And to the audience, if you have a story that you want told and you have evidence and proof and can back these things up, or
Right,
lead
like
us to a
Jennifer,
place,
yeah.
if it's something that we can vet also, please let us know.
Absolutely.
If you don't want to be told, if you don't want to come out publicly with who it is, we're happy to do that for you.
We do it all the time, yeah.
And we're not going to burn our sources with that. So just
Unless you're Dana Pareto. Fuck Dana Pareto.
well, it's different when you're attacking us. Then I guess it's kind of fair game. But no, Ron, did you have anything else for everybody?
I didn't stay. I will say this: stay attentive to this lady. I think this lady, like I told you, she was very articulate. She has evidence. She has very factual shit to say. And
Yeah.
This is a big deal in Tulsa.
It really is. I mean, and it should be. If it's not a big deal now, it needs to be, because it has to stop.
And there were so many people watching. I think we got up to what, 15, 20, something like that?
Yeah, I mean, probably 6 of those are Rhonda, Bob. I'm
Charity.
kidding. Charity.
Who
Oh,
the
my
fuck?
goodness.
Who the hell is Oklahoma Rhinos Exposed?
I don't know, but if they're going to watch the show, I don't mind.
Yeah.
Especially if they're going to be active in the comment section.
And
I
they
love
had
that.
they had great questions too.
They did.
So
They
good job.
did. They
Good
did.
job.
Well, guys, I'm going to go eat me something here in a bit, so I'm going to get off of here. Please tune in next week. Keep an eye on the Loudmouths. Follow us on Facebook or YouTube. Hit
Rumble,
the bell
Twitter.
notification. Get your notifications going so you know when we go live, and
Yeah.
we will catch you all next time.
See ya.
Peace.